What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rule Zero. I am your host, Paul Bauer. Do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. And for the love of God, do please send some super chats. Check this out. Governor Megatron set this on Twitter, right? This is Melanie Mac. You guys are sending $500 to chicks that eat sticks of butter. And we're over here giving you guys actionable information. And at least you could do is send some ducats, right?
That's how you do it, Paul. That's how you do it. They want cleavage.
Actually, I've got something. If you guys send a $20 super chat or better, I got something to play for you. I got some tatas. If you guys that have been watching my shows the last couple of weeks, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So don't be stingy with those. All right, joining me on the panel today, we'll go around here. We've got John Fitch. What's really cool about what this show today is we got options for you. If you are a fat bastard, which is what we're going to talk about today, we have at least three courses that are available. So if you don't like one guy's method, you can maybe check out some other guy's methods. So John's got some excellent courses on fitness and not being a fat bastard. What's going on, John?
Nothing much. Yeah, I have courses on being not a fat bastard and fighting violence, right? Because it's hard to be good at violence if you're a fat bastard. Right? It really is. And
clearly nobody ever sat on you.
Yeah, strength training is huge. Like the more I've read and the more I've looked and studied about health and fitness, most people are under muscled, not over fat. So you need to lift up heavy things and put them down. That's the biggest key for being youthful and healthy is lifting stuff.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Speaking of lifting stuff, we have the God amongst men. Thor knows a lot about lifting heavy things and putting them down. He's got a big hammer. What's going on, Thor?
All good. Yeah, as we get into this, I definitely have experienced this, building yourself by piecemeal, a piece at a time, whether it's relationships or doing it individually. The longest journey starts with a single step. And that's how you have to look at these things is you have to start one step at a time. And it's never too late. In fact, later on, when we get into transformations and why this is important, I have some very specific illustrations that I'll share with you guys. So you can visually understand why it's important in life.
Awesome. Nuke likes to work out. He posted a meme, months ago now, I think. And it was the picture of the two guys on the moon and the one guy with the gun. And Nuke was saying, so you're saying that the best chest exercise is weighted dips? And it was like, always has been. So Nuke, You're into weighted dips, are you?
Yeah, it's a good chest builder. I've been doing it since I was in the military. And if you want that shelf, if you want to put cups on your chest, while you're walking, you got to do that. Weighted dips is really good.
Your shoulders too.
Yeah, but you have to have good form. Like go low in the beginning. Because you can mess up your elbows, your joints, and your shoulders. You just make sure that you're doing it right.
Nice. Jack Napier, he too has a fitness course. In fact, Jack is a certified physical trainer. Is it right? That's right, Jack?
Yeah, I'm a certified personal trainer. I've been a fitness trainer for years in multiple commercial gyms. I've been training guys online now for years. I've been training people in real life for years. Yeah, I've been around. I belong to the streets of personal training.
And Cappy talks about his hikes. You guys see his pictures on Twitter and stuff like that, but they're not hikes, guys. He fucking parkours around mountains.
How do your calves look, Cappy? It's like they must be as big as John Fitch's arms.
No, because I don't weigh that much. I'm not carrying that much weight around. Like them tall, lanky guys. Like if you get a tall, big guy with dense muscle, them guys got bowling balls for calves. I'm a svelte 150. And so I got, my calves are good. My legs are in great shape, but I don't have them like, athlete, marathon running type of looking calves, but I'm in great shape for 50 years old.
Yeah. Cappy's, in ridiculously great shape. He even occasionally posts his like buff pictures.
I do that occasionally. Yeah. No, I go to the gym. I also too, do the dips. But now Nuke has me concerned about my form. I'm like, oh, maybe I'm doing it wrong. But yes, I do go to the gym very regularly. I'm just not like Thor or our good buddy Drew Bay, who obviously is a professional bodybuilder.
Yeah. Yeah. Form is important. Because like if you're not doing certain moves right, like you can get impingements on certain tendons. Like I for a while I wasn't really doing push-ups with the greatest form, right? You're supposed to have your elbows in, but I was always having my elbows out, and I started noticing this shoulder was hurting a lot. And it turned out it's because I had shitty form. So then I had to go and find some physical therapy videos on how to fix that, So if you just do it right from the beginning, then you don't have to worry about that. So, but we are going to be talking about 10 reasons why you need to fix your fatness and how you being a fat bastard has a negative impact on not just your relationships, but more importantly, your overall health. So I have a whole list here, guys, and everyone likes lists, right? So the first one I have here is your physical attractiveness is taking a hit. Okay, let's appeal to your vanity here. You look like shit. You look like shit. Obesity can affect a man's physical appearance, which can reduce his perceived attractiveness to his girl. This may lead to a decreased sexual desire and satisfaction within the relationship. Nuke, I'm going to throw it over to you. What do you think about that?
Well, when I was in the military, I would be sitting down in front of the plant, in front of the control console, and I would get bored. So one day I started working on 100 reasons you should get in shape. I was bored, right? Because there's a lot of other fat nukes, and I was like getting tired of just seeing fat people in the military, right? I was just like, guys, we're paid to be in shape, like we represent this country. So let's fucking stop with the fatness. So I wrote 100 reasons why you should get in shape. And I think the number one reason is because there's no reason not to. What can someone give me, anyone on planet Earth, give me a reason not to get in shape? There is literally no reason, none, right? So that's reason number one, is there is no reason not to. There's just too many reasons to get in shape.
There's a lot of excuses.
Yeah, there's a lot of excuses, but there is no reason not to get in shape. Like you can search for years, and they'll give you excuses like, I don't want to get too buff, which is like impossible. You don't work out for 3 months and become Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's like a decade of dialed in training, maybe some
bologna sandwiches.
Yeah, you also need some excess testosterone.
Yeah, and you have to be training. That's got to be your life, right? It paid off for Arnold, but like you're not going to get too buff. And then another common excuse is I just like this food too much. I'm like, do you think that waking up with being in shape is worse than eating chocolate cake twice a week? Like,
what the beauty about lifting weights is?
Oh yeah, that you can eat chocolate cake and still look good because you're burning so many calories.
Yeah. People think I started working out to look good. No, I just needed a hobby so I could maintain my eating habit.
I just need to have sex for longer and longer intervals, guys. I don't know about you, but I was looking for marathon type sex.
Yeah, there's that. Like every day as you get more fit, people that never had good habits, they discover every day a new perk or benefit of being in shape. Like you can have sex longer, right? And I know the brothers like to say they like thicker women, right? But if you sleep with a woman that's fit and you're fit, get ready. It's going to be a fun night because, you could do like 20 more positions now. It doesn't matter how strong you are as a guy. Lifting up a 220-pound woman is not easy. You could be a bodybuilder, and that's still going to limit your sexual, your sex life's going to be limited. You're going to be tired all the time. Like, you're going to be able to run circles around your coworkers, around your friends, around other people, because you're just brimming full of life, and then like, there really is no reason at all to not be fit. Like there's none.
So someone in the chat here does have a reason, and it says, so your annoying wife leaves you. Imagine destroying your overall health in some kind of master effort to break up with your girl, to get her to break up with you. I think there's easier ways to, that doesn't impact your heart health. I don't know. What do you
Actually,
think?
getting
What do you think,
fit,
Chappie?
getting fit is not going to, like, getting fit will make your wife leave you probably more in America at this point.
Yeah, because she doesn't want to, do the work herself. So she's going to sit there and start nagging you, and finally you're going to go out and bang some better chicks, and that's a better way. Banging hotter chicks to get your wife to leave you.
It will raise your testosterone. It's for the gains.
Have you guys heard the one where, I mean, I've gone through quite a transformation over the years from my 40s all the way into my 60s. It's a long-term journey. So you do have to look at it from a different perspective. But I've had a lot of folks along the way that would love to be in the shape that you're in and things like that. But I hear an awful lot from guys that are way overweight. Yeah, I used to look just like you, but when you stop working out, it all turns to fat. You guys heard that one yet?
Yeah.
So that's a good one. And I can kind of, I think I can illustrate this just to give the entire audience a perspective of why this is so important. I want to show a photograph of when I took a good 9 years and dove into corporate America at the exclusion of everything else, and where it left me. And this was up to the age of 47. So let me see if I can present here. Let's share. Let's do share screen, and let's do this right here. I should be able to share. That's a photograph of me at 46 years old.
What?
47 years old. Yeah.
I love the bowling shirt.
I had chased all the way to executive staff, senior executive staff in a large corporation. This is 8 years later, 9 years later.
See, what people don't realize is that when you get in shape, you also fix all your gray hair.
Yeah.
It automatically.
So that's not actually gray hair. I'm rather offended. I actually ended up with a condition due to overuse of the antibiotic clindamycin. I stopped absorbing my nutrients. And this was at the end of that issue. I shaved my head very, very short, but my entire skull turned white. I was a Colonel Sanders, Santa Claus looking MFer. For sure. And that was not who I was in my career. And really at this point, at 48 years old, because of being ill and then starting to come back out of it, I watched corporate America. There is a large amount of ageism. You guys won't realize it if you're under 40, but there is, he should be retiring. He's, this, that. As soon as this happened, like 4 years later, in fact, I was 57 here. So I was Rolo's age right here, or 56. Everything changed. I got the top picks of everything, leadership roles, all of that stuff. And that wasn't the end of the journey. I got a lot of those comments, like you said, well, I'd work out if I could. I mean, it's amazing how many people justify their existence, but a lot of this is diet and just paying attention. And it sure didn't happen overnight. I can tell you that right now. So let's see, this is a little bit later. This is me at 58. This was me right there as I started that skinny journey. So this is like 48, 49 years old. Started to really come back and said,
yeah, you're like unrecognizable. Holy crap.
This is 58 and a half right
Two different people. Holy shit.
Yeah, there's a good 27 pounds of muscle. And that's over, that's almost a decade of work. That wasn't that long ago. And here's the thing. I will show you, just if you want to know, this is actually the 11-year challenge. That's when I was corporate, Mr. Corporate, sickly, and this was actually at 59 and a half years old in my backyard. So, and it affects everybody you're around too. I'll tell you, not just this, but take a look right here. This was my 25th wedding anniversary. I believe I was 55, 56 years old. Wow. This was me at 47. That's her at 40, 43. Me living corporate, going to all the stuff, eating all the food. That was my life. Get ahead, get ahead, get ahead. Let's keep up with the Joneses. Mm-hmm. And that's where I was with it. This is where I was 10 years later, and that's where she was too. So it's definitely something that's worthwhile. And you can do it practically for free. I mean, I just did most of this the first 6 years with kettlebells, just doing stuff like that.
Wow.
That's it. So that's kind of an example of why it's important to start, but also to illustrate that it's not an overnight transformation. All of those took 6 to 11, 12 years to go, you know? And
yeah, that's an important thing to make sure people realize is the time span that you're really going to need for serious change in how you look. I always recommend lifting first to people because you can have results within a couple weeks. You'll see like things start to puff up a little bit, and that's encouraging. But you're not going to see real, serious, solid change for like 3 years. Lift solid for 3 years, and you're going to be a different person.
oh, that's for sure. And it's a big part of, you know, just becoming a masculine man is taking action, physical action, because it teaches you a lot. Even if it's just moving this finger, I'm telling you, yeah, it's not an overnight thing, but it's super important. You know, if you move this finger and then you move this finger, pretty soon you're a virtuoso like Nuke on the piano.
Yeah.
Yes.
After decades, right?
That's all it takes.
Or you're something else.
One finger at a time.
Let's move on to the next item here, which Thor already alluded to once. Stamina in the bedroom. Excess weight can decrease physical stamina and energy levels, making it difficult to perform sexually. This can lead to dissatisfaction for both people in the relationship. Clary, you wanna weigh in on this? Stamina in the bedroom?
I don't know how it's just so what we're arguing, everyone in the listening audience, everyone in the world knows that fat is disgusting. Everyone knows that, men and women. And the fact we have to say, hey, you know, if you're a fat pig, you know, did you know that affects performance in the bedroom? And you know what else it affects? It affects your entire love life and your family life and your ability to form a family. And it's, the argument is not, we shouldn't be arguing for health and lifting weights. We should be arguing that you are empirical and honest with yourself and you do an inventory of what's really important to you. Every guy here on this panel, pretty much every guy listening, and I would imagine even some women listening, you all want to have sex, right? You want to have good sex. And I'm going to also bet it's a pretty important aspect of your life, especially the men. Women are kind of like, well, yeah, sure, I'd like a ham sandwich. You know, they're kind of like that. Guys, the prerequisite to having a good sex life, and I would say maintaining your relationships, whether it's marriage or long-term, you have to be physically attractive. Because what do we call people we like, girls we like, but we're not physically attracted to anymore, gentlemen? What do we call that?
Friends.
Friends. You have friends. Not some, all romantic and sexual relationships are based on physical attraction. And if you want that, motherfucker, you better be physically attractive. That's it. That's the only argument. And I know we pick on women being fat because men are more we place higher value on physical beauty. We need to be physically attracted to a woman, but it's the same thing for the ladies. Guys, do you think your wife or your girlfriend likes to see you with your fucking gut? And she, you know, you get in shape. Okay, the sex was good, and there's your wedding picture, and then you put on 40 pounds. And now you're indistinguishable from the fat fucks wandering around in Walmart. Oh, gee, I can't imagine why your girlfriend divorced you or cheated on your wife or whatever like that. Well, so, Cappy, be in shape or go home. That's it. Be sexy or go home. And you know what? That's fine if you don't want to have a wife and a girlfriend. Just fucking admit it.
Cappy, but don't girls want dad bods? And doesn't dad bod mean being a fat fuck?
No, that's clickbait bullshit. I'm trying to think. I've never been out of shape, but there were times I was not in as good as shape as I could be. And yes, there's a direct correlation between being in physical shape and the number of women you get. Yes, there's charm, and you know, Troy Francis can speak to being charismatic and all that. But Fitch, I bet you when you were up there all jacked and ripped and fighting, I bet you had, that's probably the most amount, not just because you're on television and media, but I almost guarantee you that's probably when you got hit on the most, correct?
I mean, I've never been not other than being a little kid, I started getting my first set of my first 6-pack in 8th grade. So like I went from like a little bit pudgy in seventh grade to 8th grade, and now girls were interested in me. I had no game, so I didn't figure things out quite. But yeah, there was a definite substantial uptick in interest based off of how I looked. And I would say there are times where I can definitely say that there was a group of people around and then no attention, and then shirts came off because we're outside and throwing footballs or whatever around, and then all of a sudden now there's attention. Nothing changed other than the fact that guys took their shirts off and girls could actually see what was under the shirts.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of my post-divorce story and my divorce story. You know, Cappy is talking about your wife probably left you because you're a fat fuck. I was a fat fuck, and I know for a fact that contributed to the end of the marriage. And then when I got divorced, that first year on the dating circuit, I just floundered around. One, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Two, I was still a fat fuck. Luckily, some chubby chaser took pity on me, but it was like 2 years after the divorce is when I decided to turn things around and fix that. And I ended up making a promise to myself that I'm never going to get there again. I'm never going to let myself go that far again. And I turned my life around, and I found out that like getting dates was way easier just by not being a fat fuck. Right. A lot of guys out there are struggling. They're like, oh, there's no good women. It's not that there's no good women. Like, take a look in the mirror. What do you got going on, man? If you're a fat bastard, you're probably not going to get a lot of dates. That's
right. And we're also hypocritical for like, oh, my personality. Don't do that chick shit. Don't like, oh, I got a great. Don't personality them. But I do have a question. So Fitch, you said it was 7th grade, middle school, everyone's hitting puberty. And then from 7th grade to 8th grade, you got in shape, and the girls kind of noticed. Jack, since you're in the 7th grade, about hit puberty yourself, what are your plans to get the girls when you hit the 8th grade?
I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just gonna let the girls come to me, and I'll see what happens. In the meantime, I'll just play video games and eat pizza, shit like that. I mean,
stay in your mom's basement, and they're gonna come over. They're gonna come by and knock on the door.
They'll come over eventually, and if not, I mean, life can be great. I'll just get a dog and maybe start hiking, start a podcast, some maybe bunghole consulting or something like that. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Write a couple of books. I'll be great.
Be nice to girls too, Jack, and always agree with them at all times. Okay, then they're gonna fuck your fat ass. That's what happens.
The thing is, I trust women to be women, and I don't trust women, so I don't plan on getting them in the 8th grade either.
That's paradoxical.
I know, right?
So there's another element to this too, right? So we're going the physical attraction level, but intelligence. Okay. I'm sorry, your body is connected. Everything's connected. One thing's connected to the other. The fatter and more unhealthy you are, the less efficient and capable your body is. That means your sack of meat in your head, your brain, you don't think as well. You're not as smart as you would be without being physically fit. You actually get smarter.
IQ has been correlated with being overweight, and that mostly stems from the impulse control. People with lack of impulse control tend to be way more overweight, and that's why you get to see. I do think there's a bit of nurture in there, but that's why you see obese children. Like, say whatever you want. We sit here talking about our dicks, but meanwhile, ugly people get laid left and right, and they breed like mad.
Yep.
And then they get the fat, ugly kids. And that's where that comes from. It's just people
6-year-olds getting their energy drink, their 32-ounce energy drink at the gas station.
Yep.
Monster, wait, have you guys been to Wyoming? Were you guys in Wyoming? If you saw that,
I've driven through it. I might have seen that at the gas station.
Yeah. Before we get to this next one here, one of the reasons why I wanted to do an episode on this today is I just released a new mini course, and I say it's a mini course because it's just a short 35-minute lecture on for guys that don't know where to begin with some of this stuff. A lot of us in the space, we talk about you got to lift heavy, you got to go to the gym, and for some people that's pretty daunting, especially if you're morbidly obese, right? Like where do you even begin? Some people don't even know how to work out. A lot of guys can't even do 5 or 10 push-ups, right? So it's like, well, you expect me to lift heavy. I can't even do a push-up, man. Where do I start?
Walking.
Walking.
Walking,
20
right?
to 40 minutes a day.
So I created a course on how I started, right? Basically, when I was a fat bastard, what did I do at first? And it's a short 35-minute lecture. It's very affordable. Let me play a commercial for that, and then we'll get to the rest of these.
Tired of complicated diets and time-consuming workouts? Does your busy schedule leave no room for the gym? You're not alone. Thousands of men struggle with the same problem. The frustration of not seeing results can be overwhelming. But what if I told you there's an easier way? Introducing the Basic Diet and Fitness Mini Course, your no-nonsense guide to getting fit. Learn the only 4 exercises you need and master the secret of effortless weight loss with the calories in, calories out method. It's time to break free from the cycle of failure. Start your journey to a healthier, stronger you today. Sign up for the Basic Diet and Fitness Mini Course now, because every man deserves to feel confident and fit. Transform your life, one simple step at a time.
Visit fit.comeonmanpod.com and sign up today. No more excuses. No more excuses, guys. So the next one on the list here is testosterone levels. Obesity is linked to lower levels of testosterone, which can affect libido, sexual performance, and overall energy levels. Nuke, you've been quiet for the last 10 minutes or so. You want to talk about testosterone?
So yeah, testosterone. I just got mine checked. I'm about 700, which is pretty decent, right? I guess. And ultimately, like your testosterone, I know society. You know, it's funny because I went to the doctor and she's like, why are all these young guys trying to get the testosterone checked? You know, I don't get it, but sure, I'll do your testosterone. I'm just like, you're a doctor. You don't understand why young men are
Unbelievable.
So yeah, I'm just
unbelievable. The ignorance of these fucking doctors. That should be an annual thing. Every man should have to do at the age of 18. Every year you go in to get your blood checked.
I would fire the doctor because your free testosterone marker is actually more important at your age.
Right. Yeah. And I just said, hey, I'm 35 years old. I should be, it's like one of the most important things about my health is my testosterone. It doesn't matter. She said, oh, well, that's something that I usually check later on in life for men. I'm like, do you know what year we're living in? This is like the most important is my test.
Well, one of the biggest issues is the drop in testosterone over the last.
That was crazy. So guys are fighting a battle where society doesn't care about their testosterone.
The medical professionals will fight you on getting a blood test. You have to go around your doctor to get blood tests and crap now. It's insanity. And we're
guys that story.
Listen to the experts. They're like they have no idea about diet or nutrition. They have no idea about why you would want to get your blood levels checked. It's such asinine like behavior. Like
did I tell you guys the story about that time I wanted to get my blood tested?
For the guys that are trying to get a better snapshot of their health, I would say, hey, you're going to have a lot of pushback. People are going to lie to you. People are going to say, yeah, yours is, or it's normal. It's normal to have this low level. It's normal this, it's normal that, because society doesn't understand or care about young men's or men's health in general. So you're going to have to take it upon yourself, do the research, I know Thor knows a lot about testosterone. I'm sure other people on the panel know a lot about testosterone. Seek out help from guys that understand the most important hormone in your body.
And was a good book.
Yeah. And
Jack, what was your experience?
Oh, yeah. So in the land of the nether, free healthcare as a European. Cappy's gonna love this one. Europe with our free healthcare. So I was just curious about my blood levels. Like, okay, do I have shortages? Whatever, you name it. So I called the doctor. I'm like, I would like to have a blood test. Just a simple blood test. Oh, but are you feeling ill? Do you have any symptoms on it? No, not really. Just curious. Oh, but then why would you want a blood test? Prevention. Prevention is better than curing it. Oh, but you can't just get a blood test. There needs to be a reason for it. I'm like, the reason is that I want to prevent myself from getting ill.
You need a baseline.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell? And she kept arguing with me. And at a certain point, I just got, and I rarely raise my voice at people. But at that point, I just got so pissed off. Because we, the Europeans, get forced to pay every month for our free healthcare. I'm like, then what the fuck am I paying you for? And all of a sudden, she's like, well, the thing is, we just need to put on a reason on the form for you to get the blood test. I'm like, oh, you know what? I have a cold.
Bureaucratic sounding garbage.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in medicine, and I'll tell you that's why doctors practice the way they do. And here's how it ties into being overweight. I mean, the average Westerner is extremely overweight. We're talking 25 pounds overweight. And the issue with this is you become inactive the heavier you are. And, you know, that's just the way it is. That's what's happening. And then you put yourself in the range of getting a high blood sugar levels. This overstresses the pancreas, the beta cells. You get high levels of insulin resistance. And on top of that, the fat cells themselves contain two prolific hormones. One is called aromatase, which converts testosterone into estradiol, and the other one is leptin, which affects the hunger in your body. So those are the two primary enzymes that are inside of your fat cells. So you got a big hit when you start out and you're overweight, but you're also taking a huge hit to your testosterone too. So effort is hard. When your testosterone levels are normal, let's say in what they would consider the high physiologic range, effort becomes easy. And I'll say another thing about the doctors. Over the last 15 years, testosterone levels in the West have gone down on average 3 times. Why is that? The doctors don't ask the question. They look at thousands of patients, and then these lab companies say, all right, between ages 18 and 60, what is the average? Okay, it's this bandwidth here. That is now the normal for which doctors treat you to. Well, guess what? Testosterone's fallen 50% in the last 50 years in all men. Sperm levels are down. But what they're doing is they're basing those numbers to treat you on with insurance and get paid based on a population that is overweight, has insulin resistance, and is slightly diabetic. That's a sick population. And that's why those average numbers have gone down, 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 down. So that's what you're facing when you're looking at a doctor. And that's all tied to being overweight, Paul.
Yeah. One thing I just want to mention, I dropped it in the chat here, but one of the guys from my beer club mentioned this a couple of months ago at one of our meetups. He gets his blood tested through Direct Labs. He just orders it himself. So, and if you go to, and they're not a sponsor or anything like that, but if you go to directlabs.com, they have specials on tests and stuff like that. Right now, you can get a testosterone and free and total testosterone test for $54.
That's great.
Wow.
Yeah. So the one thing that they won't do though is they won't read the results for you. So if you like, Thor offers consulting on this shit though, and Thor's probably one of the most knowledgeable guys I know.
Damn it! Now I have to learn how to read.
It's actually important because you can go down the wrong road, particularly if you're getting larger tests like general metabolic function and you're getting your CBCs with blood counts and all that stuff. You can have things that are out of range that'll freak you out when you start looking on the internet. So use some caution and get professional medical advice.
Yeah. It all comes down to how you feel and what those numbers are, because there's going to be wiggle room. I've been reading
that's
the
what
TOT Bible, Testosterone Optimization Bible. They have a lot of good. I'm about halfway through it. There's a lot of really good information. I might have to read it like 3 or 4 times to really absorb it. But it's pretty simplified and explains things pretty clearly. That's a great recommendation.
It really is. I've spoken with Jay Campbell before years ago. It is really good. Yeah.
Another great resource, and he's a colleague of ours, and that is Sterling Cooper, because that was his job, is to keep his testosterone up as a porn star, among other things to keep up. But he takes a very strong approach, and I agree with him 100% because it's true. In terms of diet and what you're putting in your body. Now, he may take it to a professional level where, you know, he gets plastics out and he uses filters and all that other stuff. But we were talking about lifting weights and, you know, culture and all that, but you cannot deny your diet and what you're putting into your body has an effect. I hate to say it, but give up booze if you don't need it, but you want to get your testosterone up, give up booze. Your diet also, you know, I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy, but man, seed oils are horrible for you. eating out at your average bar and restaurant is horrible for you. It's cheaper to cook at home. And, there's perfect is the enemy of good. I know maybe your lifestyle, you got to eat, you work downtown, you got to go, but really look into your diet, because your diet doesn't take energy or exercise. You're going to do the same calories of energy putting food into your mouth. It's what you're putting into your mouth that's going to actually make a dramatic difference. Working out, that takes energy and time. Diet is one of the easiest things you can do, because all you're doing is changing what you're putting in your mouth. It doesn't take any more time. And so I'd even before walking, I would start with your diet when it comes to testosterone, let alone your overall physical health.
Yeah,
Well,
I
completely agree.
my
It's
course
one
talks
of
about
your
that. It
friends
really
has
breaks
one of
it
the
down
best
in an
approaches to that
easy
for
way.
keeping your testosterone levels high. His diet is on point, and he is very good. And like you'd mentioned, as a professional, he needs to keep those things up. He also is really good at many other things, as we talked about, but he has one advantage that's really good at boosting testosterone, and it is proven to be more effective than any of the no fat and the never orgasm
on
type
your asshole.
Yeah, and that is he's around sexy young virile women, and that raises a man's testosterone more than any of that no fap and no jack ejaculate philosophy. So
No Jack, excuse you.
Yeah,
whatever it is.
I would recommend taking all the natural
Mhm.
precautions you can to boost your testosterone. Like get a baseline with your blood work, and then eliminate the bullcrap food, because it's easier to take things away than to add things, and then add anything that you need that can help raise your testosterone a little bit, and then see where you are.
I do want to add to this
Don't
topic.
just run to the drugs right away.
I do want to add
agree.
to this real quick,
Go
because
ahead, Jack.
Cappy said, like, changing your diet is one of the easiest things to do. In theory, yes. In practice,
so
no.
weak.
And well, okay. Hold on this one. Let me finish on that one, because I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, and Cappy's gonna kill me for this one, but it does hold true. Thor brought up the point about doctors. How many doctors would ever dare to prescribe a low carb diet? Almost none. The whole food pyramid thing, which is a scam, by the way, go look this up. This is very accessible information. It's not even a conspiracy theory. The only reason why bread is so high on that, or so low on the food pyramid, because like the baseline, is because bread was cheap for food stamps and the government needed to save money. That's why pasta and carbs are a priority on the food pyramid. That's why. Now, the second thing is, other than the medical advice you get for diet, the government advice you get from diet, kids being indoctrinated with that shit during school lunches, then you get the supermarkets and every other general store that has been designed for you, the consumer, to get easy access to quick and tasty foods. All the marketing around high calorie, high sugary, flavory food is a billion-dollar industry to design packaging just for you to buy it. As soon as somebody walks in the supermarket, they're being bombarded with marketing and unconscious psychological triggers that makes you want to buy crap. So
I had a friend who worked at one of these
wrong.
companies, and that was their whole thing, was to decide which colors elicited hunger and made people want to buy the packaging. So they're putting like special colors on things that aren't healthy in order to make you think that it's healthy, because you think it's organic because it's like green and yellow in the packaging.
Have you guys seen was it Super Size Me 2, where Morgan Spurlock starts his own food chain, and he's trying to make a fast food chain for healthy food, and he finds out you can't market healthy food as a fast food. So what he learns is how the industry does it, how everything like labeled as organic, and what like a free range chickens, what that means, and everything's about a halo of health, which is like, it looks healthy, so it makes people feel healthy, but it's bullshit.
Paul, are you saying Fahwaman back in the late 90s were hoodwinked into thinking it was fair organic coffee? that they went and bought. Are you
It all comes
saying
from the same place. That's the funny part. It all comes from the same place.
oh,
That's exactly what I'm saying.
oh my
Yeah.
God.
Isn't that crazy?
But
Isn't
but
it's
that
all-
but they were so proud of themselves.
Their stupid handbags and purses are made in the same factory too. They just put different labels on them.
Yeah,
One's
they
worth
change the
$50,
price.
one's worth $5,000.
Put a fucking panda on it.
like one of the things that was fascinating was to be called a free range chicken just means that the chickens have access to the outside. So what they did in these giant fucking chicken farms is they opened the doors and put like a little tiny fence so that they did have access if they wanted to, but the chickens were too fat because of like how they were bred. They're bred to grow fast quickly, and they're too fat to walk outside. But because they have access now, they're free range. It's like
Cage free is like they open the gates and just like, well, if they're cage free, they're free. They just choose to be in the cage. So
because they're fat fucking chickens.
Yeah. Two notes, Paul.
Yeah.
I had on the whole. We're talking about cravings, right? And how the food industry uses cravings. Something that I think I've heard somewhere is that your gut bacteria kind of determines your cravings because it's like your second brain.
That's
so
the whole thing too.
Yeah, if you eat a lot of sugar foods, like this especially affects women because women love the liquid calories. They love the
thyroid issue.
It's they love their bottomless mimosas on brunch. They love their Starbucks frappuccinos.
They're fake coffee.
How dare you, Noob? How dare the balls on you down in Texas, sir? My goodness.
Sweet tea in Texas too, all that stuff. And it's if you feed the bacteria in your stomach all that food, they will like your brain. I think that it's just like a signal that sends to your brain to crave more of that, right? It's like your stomach is your second brain or something like that.
Like the gut bacteria.
So
there's a thing where people like take pills filled with other people's poop to change their gut bacterias. That's a thing.
Insane.
That's action will save somebody's life if they've really had a devastated gut
Really?
biome. That can save their life. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a poop pill.
It's a suppository,
pill,
like a red
guys.
pill.
Forget the red pill. Take the poop pill.
Yeah, and then there's this belief that eating healthy is more expensive. What the thing is that the thing is that people are afraid of eating the same. Yeah, the people are afraid of eating the same thing every day, right? So if you eat, if you're eating steak, chicken, or fish, at first it's going to be expensive, right? But if you buy a 20-pack of fish because you're going to be eating salmon every other day, or twice a week, or 3 times a week, you're going to save money in the long run, right? But if you go to the store, and buy
my parents went in on half a cow with my aunt and uncle, so they bought a quarter of a cow.
And that's a cow. A cow will last a family for what? A half a year, a full year, or something like that.
Oh yeah.
I get a quarter of a cow sometimes because I live out in ranch country, so there's lots of you can buy direct, and then you just go to the butcher over here and buy a quarter of a cow. It's like $300. It lasts all year.
Wow. Crazy. You just need a freezer to put it in, right? Just storage.
You just got to store it as a freezer. So
generator in case the power goes out.
Jack uses cum as a moisturizer down there. Said he mentioned our friend Sterling Cooper, who's technically still on the Rule Zero panel. The next one on the list here is erectile dysfunction, which Sterling doesn't have because of all the precautions he takes, right? But it says here, excess weight, particularly around the abdomen, can contribute to ED. Obesity is associated with vascular problems, which can impede blood flow to the penis. So, I mean, if that's not reason enough, I don't know. I don't know what is.
Let me ask you this, Paul. With all the men, about 70% of men are overweight. What does it tell you about the priorities when it comes to sex or food?
Food's the priority.
Food's the priority, right? And what would make quick work of this, not to accelerate the show, but every man listening here, as well as every woman, you have a choice. How important is sex to you? If it's really important and you're gonna die, oh God, I wish I had more sex, you need to lose weight. But at the same time, if sex is not that important to you in a life of sloth, laziness, lying around, and essentially ease, it's an easy life. If that's more important to you, do it. But then don't lament or rue. Don't be like these idiotic fat chicks like, there's fat phobic and beauty is a social construct. Don't be like them. Don't ruin your life. Like, yeah, look, I'm a fat pig. I'm going to enjoy my food. I'm going to enjoy my sloth. But don't you dare start thinking you're going to date or that you're going to get some kind of success with women.
I'm in shape. I don't even date now.
Well, that's every
Jack's,
Western man mostly.
Yeah, that's true. That's every Western man. Like, what is this dating you keep talking about, Cappy? What the hell?
Well, that brings us
Are
to
they
our
still around?
that brings us to our famous gym bro dilemma, right?
Yeah.
Where guys are like, there are a subsect of guys, a lot of our followers that are just like, hey, I want to have more sex, meaning I want to be more attractive and perform better, because when I perform better, I have more fun, girls like me more, blah blah blah, yada yada. But here's the thing: where does a guy who's fit and in shape find in shape girls in a country that's just full of obese people, right? Because the only place you'll see them, right, a normal guy with a normal job, is the gym. And then you have people telling him, don't approach at the gym. That's bad. The gym is for working out, right? And that is a very that's a very demotivating thing, because like, I did all the work, so where are all the hot chicks? And I'm like, oh, buddy.
But here's to add on top of that, Nuke, the hurdles of going and asking out cute girls aside, whether you can't ask them out at a place where there's cute girls like the gym, or it's socially not acceptable or whatever, or just there's a very small and dwindling percentage of the population. This brings about, okay, why should to remove sex and women from the formula? Should you still work out and be in shape? And I would argue, yes, for your own sake. There's other reasons outside of sex and women and dating that you should be getting in shape. And that right there should be the main reason you're working out, regardless of whether there's sexual access or not.
Well, that's why we have a lot of sad gym cells. That's where the gym cell comes from, where the guys, they're like, I'm fit. Where are all the hot chicks? And you're just like, no, dude, you're fit now. You fixed like the big problem, the underlying issue of your life, but now you have to be social. You have to go to places where there's fit women, right? Like you can't go to the club because the club is full of fat women now. Like you can't go there.
They prefer the term thick.
Yeah, you have to go to like 5Ks. You have to go on like a good place. A good place to approach women is like parks, like dog parks, because women that usually go to parks are usually more fit because they walk, they're getting their steps and stuff. So yeah, fat women hang out all day and then at night they go to the club. And
I found a lot of fit women hanging out in the rock climbing section of my gym as well. One thing I'd like to point out is probably should be the strongest motivator of all. And I learned a lot about my earth suit here that I'm in. When I was 28 years old, I got severely electrocuted by 12,000 volts, but I was in really good shape. I was at 201 pounds, prime of my life. I dropped 45 pounds in a matter of 10 days due to third-degree burns. And so coming back from that, the doctors impressed on me how important over the next year with 14 reconstructive surgeries, how important it was that I was in shape when that hit me, that I could do protein scavenging across my body to repair the skin. Most people would have permanent damage due to that. And as you can see, just scars is all I have at this point. And, I have this beautiful face. I got a facelift the hard way at 28 years old by burning all the skin off. But it taught me that being in excellent shape will help you even in the most dire circumstances, especially physically. And you'd be surprised how much you miss being in shape when you are not in shape. Mm-hmm. This latest physical, my wife, when she got her neck broken, she was extremely fit. So just being around somebody that's fit will inspire you to become fit. And she got her neck broken, and thank God that she had all of the extra weight and the muscle, even though she was paralyzed. It got her through the bulk of it. Now, it didn't get her through the pain, but it got her through the bulk of it. And she just didn't die from her injuries because she was out of shape, too fat, couldn't be moved. She had to be turned every few hours and carried. So being in shape and being a normal weight aided those folks. So just like what recently happened to me with the brain cancer, and I've lost, 13, 14 pounds over the course of months. The same thing happened when I was talking to the oncologist. And by the way, he's very much a no carb diet to help everybody. Very cutting edge guy. Is being in shape is probably the best survival mechanism you have when it comes to surgery and severe illness, because it gives your body reserves that you can use at any age. And he is strongly encouraging me to get back into the weight training as soon as possible. So that should be your primary goal, is to fortify your earth suit
survival
against these things. It's a great insurance.
And even functionality.
Yes.
Where, think about this. For all of human history until like the past 40, 30 years, how do we get around? We walked, just be able to get out and go. And then to go to a Walmart or go to an airport and see people having to get in a wheelchair or a rascal. Like, don't tell me you're even enjoying life at that point. You can't even walk. Like, you are like, fine, if you're a little overweight, you want to play your video games and eat your chicken tendies on an EBT card, fine. But if you let it get to the point that you can't walk, or you got to have a foot amputated because you're on diabetes or whatever else, like, you're not at least a bare minimum of physical health is required to just function as a human being. You go past that, and now it's just you're in a prison, not an earth suit.
I went to Disneyland a couple years ago down in California or SoCal, and I could not believe it wasn't a bunch of kids running around and being snot-nosed and doing kid stuff. It was a bunch of fat, mostly morbidly obese, crippled people, and there's rascals driving around, sweating.
Yeah.
They look miserable. And I was just like, how is this a life you want to live? I
went to Orlando a couple months ago with my son. We went on a boys trip, right? And we went to Disney World, and they have rascal parking at all the different fucking rides. It's crazy. And there's like hundreds of scooters all around these places. And I'm just like, this is insane.
You should teach your children about this too, and that ensuring their health is the most important thing. I could tell you this: out of 4 children, I've never been more than 15 pounds overweight ever, and the wife never more than 15 or 20 pounds overweight, even in the picture you saw there, ever. And none of our children, adult children, are overweight at all. They're in the best shape, and they got those habits early on. I mean, I'd take them out in the garage and do jujitsu when they're freaking 6 and 7 years old. Like, I imagine John's kids will never.
I like
be
joking my kids out. Yeah.
Yep.
Fuck them kids. No, I was kidding.
Hit mitts, have we lift and stuff like right now.
That would be helpful to
time training with their football stuff. They go in and they do agility work and they do lifts like 4 days a week. It's awesome.
It is, and it works for the girls too. We need to encourage them to do the stronger stuff. Yes, they like the cheerleading and the dancing. There's nothing wrong with that, but and
if you have kids, people listening, like, get them involved in a routine, a fitness routine early. Get it. Fitness and weight training and stuff. It should be part of your hygiene routine. Yeah. Right. You brush your teeth twice a day, because you don't want your damn teeth to fall out. You don't want to have rotten, gross teeth. You take a shower and wipe your ass because that's hygienic, and you don't want to be gross and filthy and get diseases.
It's being an adult. Thing. Yeah, you're being an adult.
So doing some cardio, walking 20 to 40 minutes a day, and lifting some weights, getting a sweat on, that should be part of your hygiene. Think of it as hygiene, not like, oh, I have to do
really
this
is.
thing. Like, and don't do it like, oh, I'm going to brush the shit out of my teeth for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then I'm not going to do it again for 6 weeks.
John, what do you think about I'll tell you, you could prove this to yourself. Like Jack could do it, Cappy could do it. Kids,
even Nuke can do it.
They're really interested in the fitness, and no one's actually teaching them, because I could tell you, one of the things I'd like to do when I was in really good shape is I would lift the wife over my head and do presses with her. And as I did this, in fact, I'll show you this right here. At this particular beach, there's families of all types. And what happens is the kids come up and want me to do the same to them. They're very interested in you being fit, and you'll be surprised. Lots of the teenage girls come over and are very interested when you do something like this. And you just are very, very fit, and you're exposed in public to this. It's pretty amazing.
Your job is things like the most fit.
They see you
that your kids are around.
And so this was something I'd love to do at the beaches or wherever, but just not with her. That woman right there is 52 years old with a 6-pack. And I'm 4 years older than her, but we would just have fun with it. And then we'd teach the kids to do it. And all of a sudden we have a line of fat young girls, which are almost too much to lift up, wanting to do this. So it showed me that there is an interest, but it is not demonstrated.
Like, what is the form on that? How do you start out? Like, I can imagine, like, you squat at first, right? Thor?
Oh, do you want to know? I actually have a video instructing on how to do this. It is kind of an interesting way to do it. There's a trick.
Yeah, because
Basically,
like
you're
a
gonna
human
squat.
body is like unbalanced when you push it up.
Yeah, but she's
no.
she's tight. Her abs are like you can
Yeah,
tell.
that's
yeah.
that's what I was
Anything
going to say
board,
is
you know how to-
Missy's doing a lot of work there too. I mean, you look at Thor, but to do that, because I've done that to girls before, and I bet they have to have physique
You haven't
themselves.
done that to girls
I have
before.
been. I got a picture
I've done it to
somewhere.
Cappy. I've done it to
What
Cappy.
woman would touch you?
When I
First
met
of all.
Cappy, I did it. I did it on him. I was just like, "Wow, Cappy, you're pretty light."
Very light.
Get it all out, guys. Get it all out. Go ahead.
No way a woman would trust you pushing her in the air.
Anyway, I am merely saying that Missy is doing a lot of work there as
Yeah,
well.
she
You
is.
can't take your average woman and do that because, well, she's neurotic fucking psycho
as long
shit.
as they're not above 170 pounds, I can teach them as long as they know how to board. And I got a few techniques I can teach them how to board and become stiff. That's just holding your muscles so you're not a sack of water, right?
Mhm.
So once
Right.
that happens, there's
You'd
really
be
no
surprised how many
trick.
people can't
It's
keep
how
a
you
straight
bend
forward.
down and how you pick them up. You're using your legs almost the entire time. And then you basically are going to clean them off of your chest and lift them into this position
Oh,
at the perfect
damn.
balance point. I actually have a video. If you want, I will send it to you, Nuke, and the rest of the guys. I'll send it to you. There's an instructional. I'm doing this with a good girlfriend of ours out back, and I teach other guys how to do it. It's a simple
awesome.
thing. It draws a lot of attention, and girls love this.
Yeah.
Grab the link and drop in the chat there.
I'll give it to you guys private. I don't have it posted anywhere.
Oh, okay.
No, do
Okay.
it, man. Do it, Thor. Because, like, I was wondering, like, how the hell did you get her up there? Like, did she first, like, lay on your back or something?
No,
You
they cross
probably
their legs, they
started-
stand beside you, and you squat down in front
Yeah.
of them. And then you kind of lean over and they lay into your chest where you position your hands.
Yeah, okay.
And then as you're thrusting up with the squat, they get to a point where they start to lift off your chest. And then you drop down and clean.
yeah,
And then you bring your legs back in, and then you spin around, and they're all smiling.
I
and
would
everybody's giggling.
suggest
And
practicing in
you
the
know,
pool.
200-pound blonde is there. I'm next. I'm next.
no, not the 200-pound blonde.
Hey
would
guys, I
practice in
gotta
the
go.
swimming
I
pool, too.
actually do have to go for a hike. So me and the girl are gonna go hiking, and I gotta fly out and visit.
Okay, you have
Athame.
fun picking up chicks. And
Do you
putting them
wanna
above your head.
plug your shit? You wanna plug your shit, or do you?
I mean,
have
yeah, I
any-
can't. Assholeconsulting.com, and then I don't really have any health related shit. I guess maybe Bachelor Pad Economics, where they're but no. Oh, you know what? I do have something related to this. I have a course on Teachable called How to Stop Being Lazy. That one would start, because let's just admit you're fat, ugly pigs because you're lazy, no good fucks that don't want to work out. That's it. You're just lazy. So take that course. Stop being a fucking loser. I think it's only $50. It's an hour long. But it's probably one of the quickest, like, kick in the asses that you need. It's on Teachable. Search How to Stop Being Lazy. Aaron Clary, Teachable. You'll find it.
That's
All
good.
right, sounds
Course.
good.
All right. See you guys.
See ya, Cappy.
There,
Like
Cap. So
So
we
now
were
that
talking
means-
about a bunch of fat asses, right? But
Yeah.
there's also an epidemic of skinny fat.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
People who you look at and do not look obese at all, but they are still in the 25 percentile of body fat because
Mhm.
they have no muscle.
Yeah.
That's
That's a big
also
problem.
You stand as much risk of cancer and heart problems because of the visceral fat in your body being skinny
true.
fat as you do being hugely obese.
Yeah, that's a good
100%.
point. Let's get to this next one here. We've actually talked about quite a bit of these. In fact, one of these on here was mobility and physical activity. So we sort of already talked about that with the fucking hover rounds and scooters and stuff like that. I have here, this is more of like a low self-esteem mental thing, but you can have body image issues when you're obese. It can lead to low self-esteem, can reduce a man's confidence, and just decrease his overall mental health.
That's a good one. You bring up a good one because then you get fat boy syndrome. You ever met those people? I mean, Fitz probably has met them. Thor's probably met them. We all have met them. It's like fat boy syndrome. You get like this obese guy who finally gets into shape, but his confidence doesn't grow with his physique. And that is like no training in the world will fix that. That is some deep psychological level shenanigans that guys need to figure out. go read No More Mr. Nice Guy if this resonates with you. And if it is you, I would also recommend a therapist for that one, because that whole body, like body dysmorphia is one thing, but the entire low self-esteem and no confidence, even though like you've put in all the effort for yourself, and even like, let's say you cleaned up your diet and you have a skincare routine, so you are treating yourself the best you can, and it's still there. Damn. That is a psychological hurdle.
That's why you see a lot of these super jacked, dialed in guys, and then they're with like the chubby, you know, kind of, you know, they get
because
with girls
she gives him attention.
Yeah,
and at least somebody.
Yeah, they don't know how to like. They don't know what they don't know how to go after what they want. They're just like, well, you know, I'm jacked now. Like, I still feel like insecure. Like, I still feel like that fat kid, and I'll just get with this other chubby chick because it makes me feel.
Yeah, they still feel inadequate. They still feel like a loser. Now, I'm not saying lifting weights and things like that won't help when you're obese to change your perspective of yourself, but it's not a guarantee.
No.
Yeah, a little bit of that though is very motivating, but it is it's something you wouldn't want to rely on regularly. You know, because it can become a trap and an ego protection. Because your lack of success, you know, or their laziness. Yeah, you can use things like that. And I'm not good enough to motivate. A lot of the guys that are in the self-help community say that, and then they use the anger and the fear to motivate themselves. But that's rather unique. A lot of people cannot sustain that, you know.
Yeah. Well, one thing that people also don't realize is that our minds believe everything that we tell ourselves, and so. You can work with a therapist, or you can work with a good coach or something too. In fact, like, you know, Paul Benjamin talks about this a lot. A lot of men do better with coaches than they do with therapists, because coaches are all about, you know, action. Most of them. Some therapists are
not dwelling on your trauma for your whole life.
Yeah, because again. Yeah, the thing about therapists is that you're working through your emotions and you're talking out your feelings and shit, and often doesn't really get you anywhere. That works good for women, but not necessarily for men. But you know, a good coach, there are good therapists out there, but they'll actually give you some things to take away to do. You know, one thing I highly recommend are just simple affirmations, right? Because if you believe everything you tell yourself, if you are aware of it, and you eliminate that negative self-talk and start telling yourself positive things, you'll believe it. You'll eventually believe it. It takes some time. It's actually a form of self-hypnosis.
And it's very effective.
It's super effective.
Mantras.
Yeah, mantras. Yeah,
I have a mantra.
Yeah, what's your mantra, Thor?
To be the best, slightly below average God amongst men I can be.
Does everybody have one? I have one. I have one that was given to me by a coach on accident once.
What is it?
I was in Vegas, and I was just going through a lot of shit or whatever, and I was feeling down, whatever. And my coach just looked at me and says, "John, you're still the fucking show."
You're still the show. Yeah, you know, that's the same principle right there. Yep.
You know, so I'm like, yeah, anytime I'm feeling a little bit off, I'm like, you're still the fucking show, man.
The only mantra I have is you ain't shit, and that's okay.
I have two. One that I learned in the military. One I learned from some kind of from a song I forgot. Number one is that from the one from the military I got. Yeah, it's like the most motivating thing I've ever been told was, no one cares that you suck. The world's gonna keep going. No one cares that you suck. The job's still gonna get done. And I was like, no one cares that I suck. Wow. And for some reason, it made me feel like, damn, it doesn't matter my attitude. If I want to be better, it's for me, because the world's going to carry on regardless if you suck or not. Might as well contribute to the world being better for myself, you know?
Yeah.
And then number two was I like the man I'm becoming, right? Because people think, like, society has a concerted effort to make you think that after 30, you're going to get fat. You're just going to get old. Your knees are going to go like it's over for you as a guy. But then I hit 30. I'm just like, wait, things are getting so good so fast. I didn't know. And it's just, I look at myself and I'm like, wait, I like the man I'm becoming. I did the work, you know, and I'm continuing to do the work every day. And, you know, I don't know. It just helped me.
I'll give you guys, because we're all about, you know, actionable information here.
Are we?
One thing I learned studying NLP is there's two really good ways two basic like words that you want to add to your mantras, right? One is you, like John Fitch says, you are still the motherfucking show. If you stand in front of the mirror and you use a phrase like that, you are awesome, you are fucking great, whatever, you are still the motherfucking show. You are telling your subconscious mind a command, and your subconscious mind will believe it. If you use the word I am in an affirmation, that's also telling your subconscious mind a command, and you will believe it, you know? So something to think about.
Yeah, I'll give everybody a good advice on a mantra they can do right now. What I would recommend is you go out and you buy yourself a bracer like this in leather, and it says on it, get this printed on it because this is important, WWTD. And just tell yourself WWTD.
What would Thor do? What would Thor do?
And keep that bracer on all the time, even when you're.
Yes, we had those in the military too. Yeah, hell yeah. I'll get. Hey, if you sell it, I'll buy it.
Well, that's Thor. You talk about that in your book because that's a third-party perspective, a third-party observer perspective. It's like if I'm sitting there wondering what would Thor do in this situation, that's imagining someone's viewing it from the outside.
Yep. And I can tell you what I'd do. I'd bring this up right here. And then I'd fondle it gently. Since I carry a very heavy hammer. This I use to solve nearly every problem, and it works.
Thor, that's a much smaller hammer than you used to carry around.
Oh yeah. I know.
Oh Lord. We have some super chats. Let's get to these real quick here. Guys, if you send a $20 or better super chat, you're going to get to see some tatas. I know you guys can afford it because you guys are sending fucking $500 super chats for butter eating chick. You know what I mean? So,
hey, we're not big titty goth girls in our mid 40s.
Yeah. Oh, but I got something. I got something for them. Okay. If they send a $20,
I'll wear the eyeliner next week. I promise. And I'll wear an even lower cut top.
This is better than drag queen Jack. Okay.
Oh, but let's great in a dress, sir. I'm just telling you.
I believe it, dude. I believe it.
Jack,
okay, so
let's
get to these here. We got a $2 Canadian from James Nestor. Author warned ED in mouth breathing. Okay, I'm gonna give him this one.
I was just gonna say it. This guy fucks. Am I right?
We got Nonstop Dre for $5. What does Cappy and P Diddy have in common? Both treat women equally, aka true feminists, and I like to do full body workouts at battered women's shelters. God.
That's a cold ass honky.
And then we got a $2 super chat from Nonstop Dre. Is skinny fat similar to wealthy guys who are cheap? I'm gonna give him this one.
There he is, biggest swinging dick in the West.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Let's see here. Let's do one more, and then we can just go around the horn, I think, because by the time we get done going around the horn, we'll probably be at the half hour here. So the last one here I have is sleep apnea. Sleep apnea. Yeah. Obesity increases the risk of sleep apnea. Have you guys noticed that it seems like CPAP machines, like everyone's got a CPAP machine, and there's a lot of people that probably could solve that problem by just not being fat.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Like I went out for a friend's wedding. I tried to talk him out of it. It didn't work. But I tried to go out to a friend's wedding out in California a couple of months ago. And my man had a sleep apnea machine. He's a little bit overweight. It's really unfortunate because just a couple of years ago, he was doing some kind of fad diet. I think it was called Yoli or some shit like that. It's like a multi-level marketing fucking health program or something. So he was doing that and trying to hawk that shit online and stuff, but he lost a lot of weight. He just didn't stick with it. You know, that's why I don't necessarily like the idea of those types of fad diets. You know, I teach in my course just basic calorie counting using free apps, you know, because then you can pretty much eat whatever you want as long as you account for the calories. But then what you'll start doing naturally over time is just picking better food choices, right? Because you're like, I realize that if I eat this quarter bag of Doritos, because that's the serving size, you start learning what serving sizes are. you realize, God, I'm still hungry after this. But if I eat this apple over here, which is this roughly the same amount of calories, I'm not as hungry, and I can go a little bit longer, or whatever food choice it is. I like keto because when you eat fattier foods, you're satiated longer, so you don't need to sit there and snack all day. That's just a personal preference, but a lot of it all really comes down to calories in, calories out at the end of the day. Because even if you're on carnivore, even if you're on keto, even if you're doing intermittent fasting, the law of thermodynamics is still at play. If you are doing intermittent fasting and then you eat way more than your calorie count because you're trying to, and you do it all in that fucking small window, you're still gonna be a fat fuck. You know what I mean?
One thing to take into account too is culture, and like people's culture, and because food revolves around people's culture. Like if you're from India, you can't eat meat, or if you're like Hispanic, you're gonna be eating lots of carbs because
if you're from India, you can't eat at all.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
And all that stuff, and guys have to also, like, if you're gonna get in shape, right? You need to sit down and realize that every diet is tailored. You have to tailor a diet to you based on what you like to eat, right? Because if you constantly force yourself foods that you don't like if you don't like fish.
Nuke, you're breaking up there, man.
Oh, it's freezing.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. All diets will work if you understand total daily energy expenditure.
Yeah, you broke up there, Nuke.
Hello?
You broke up. Your internet.
Am I breaking up?
Yeah, your internet connection sucks, bro. He can't hear
Am I breaking up?
Yes.
You did. Yes.
You broke up.
The principle that Nuke was talking about is really important, is finding what you like. And that even applies to when you are working out. A lot of folks don't like certain types of exercises, so they sabotage themselves by creating a hatred for certain things, legs, squats.
Yeah.
So when you're first starting out, find things you do like, or at least marginally like, and tell yourself you like them and keep going. That will ensure that you keep the habit. And that goes for food as well.
That's one of the things I talk about in my course. Is it's important to find stuff that you like to do, exercises you like to do, something that you'll fucking stick with, right? It's not necessarily important. Like, we talk about going to the gym. What if you don't like going to the gym? Do something you like doing that you can stick with and make
body weight,
make it a part of your routine. That's really more important than any one specific thing. That's why, I'm like, Jack's got a course on working out. Fitch has courses on fitness and working out and fighting and stuff like that. Thor's got stuff. Pick your poison. What will you stick with? That's the important thing, right? Let me Thor's got a picture here of his food.
Oh,
prep.
yeah.
So we'll show that here in a second, but let me first get to this.
This is how you get a $20. It's how you get a six-pack. Seriously.
Yeah. We have a $20 super chat. He says, "Don't be fat, show him." And what he's talking about is this.
Thank you for the super chats. Groovy bouncing, can't stop that. From the east to the west, you are the best. Keep those chats coming in, let's do it all again.
Titties get the super chat, so that's what you guys get when you send a $20 or better super chat. Okay, let's look at Thor's food prepping here.
Yes, this is important, man. I made this a hobby, and the wife picked it up from me and prepared all my food for years. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and this allowed me to even eat more calories as I was putting on muscle mass, but made it a fun hobby to do, is to get this thing going. And well, I'll tell you what, she took a lot of flack for doing this for me from girlfriends. They said, well, why would you do that? Why would you do that for him? And she had the best answer ever, which was, I like a buffed out Thor. So she was making my food. I started out doing it, but she started making my food as she appreciated what a good diet can do. And I'm sure that it helped me in the long run. This was more of a paleo split macro type diet, 30-30-30. And then I would watch the total daily energy expenditure. But this is not hard. In retrospect, I had a lot of fun with this, but I probably could have saved a lot of time by using a service that does it for you. You can have prep services. If you're getting started out, in fact, if you're really overweight, you might want to start with a prep service just for convenience, so you can focus on other things like training your mind, getting yourself ready to work.
It's really really time consuming, or not time consuming, but time saving, and it's easy to budget. So if you're guys who are bachelors and living on your own, like this, it's one of the easiest ways to make sure you have ready, good, nutritious food for you all the time. I like to eat on a schedule, and that helps a lot too, because you're not sitting here like, oh, I'm getting hungry, it's time to snack on something. It's like, oh no, it's 3:30, it's time for my first dinner.
Yep.
You know, you know what you're eating when you're eating it. There's not much time for snacking, and then you even can schedule in your snack time stuff and cheat meals on the weekend.
Well, it saves money too, because you're buying all these foods yourself. You're not going out to eat all the time. Going out to eat costs a lot, especially now with inflation.
Bro, right?
Bitch about that, but
I ordered KFC. I ordered some Kentucky Fried Chicken a little while ago. It was like close to $150 for 4 people.
That's
2 adults.
That's insane. It's fast food costing $150 is outrageous.
I'm watching. I watch some of these money guys on Instagram, not Instagram, but YouTube and whatever. And that's one of the things that they're noticing. Like a lot of the fast food companies are suffering right now, and some of them might be shutting down because it's as expensive to go to McDonald's or In-N-Out as it is to go to a nice dinner.
Yeah,
but how much did you order at KFC?
It was a good amount. It was a good amount.
Yeah, it was good. Big buckets.
KFC's
traditional ones.
Yeah, it was a feast. It was a feast.
John and I will get along so well if we just go out for fast food. That would be amazing. Well, if I ever get to Vegas, John, do me the favor of just coming out and we'll just stroll the city for fast food. Fuck it.
There's some good.
We're going drinking with the girls. Fuck you. Fast food. Let's go.
Let's get these super chats and then we'll go around the horn here. Nonstop Dre, $2. They say the North Korea diet is very effective.
Caloric deficit. It always works.
Yeah. I was just going to say, this guy fucks. Am I right?
The Austrian pager knew. All those people in those chats, they were
those guys were thin. Yeah. Unrealized thoughts, $5. Do you guys think women on TikTok and Instagram talking about dating is the equivalent to male podcasts?
No, because men actually have something to add.
Do they though?
People, they're everywhere.
Do they? Like, I think it depends on what male podcast, because it turns into gossip. A lot of these channels turn into gossip, and women also turn into gossip too. Like,
well, I was talking about us, Noob.
Oh, us? Oh no, yeah, we all provide value.
No,
don't do Ozempic. Don't do Ozempic. Fucking
yeah.
That's not a solution.
Drug. That's really difficult. If you're, it would be a last resort.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have a lot of skinny fat people here in the next 10, 15 years. Because everyone's gonna be thin, but they're just no muscle. Because if you don't have the discipline to stop eating, you probably don't have the discipline to stick to a strength training routine or something like that. So.
And if your A1C is right there where it's turning diabetic, okay. I mean, that's what that medication's for.
Right. That's the original purpose. Yeah.
If you're a type 2 diabetic, get your diet in order and don't be fat. That'll fix that. That'll fix that. If you're type 1, that's something else. But type 2, you can fix that shit. All right, let's go around the horn here. We'll start with Nuke. What do you got going on, Nuke?
New Patreon post is up. Talking about why women want you to win. And show tomorrow at 9 p.m. Nuke stream. I will post the topic here soon. So thanks.
All right. Jack.
Hello.
Where can people get your accountability program? Do you have any seats left on that?
Oh, yeah. Let me see. Because, okay, first of all, okay, I'll post the accountability program first. Where is it? There it is. Personal accountability program, personalized training program, diet plan, private Discord, weekly forum checks, actually every training session forum checks, and a monthly consultation. Next week, we're going to have the consultation for June. Then, and I don't want to bombard you guys with too much, I have the exercise performance course, squat, bench, deadlift, dips, pull-ups, and shoulder press, all instructional videos on how to do that. It's $1, so if you're interested in that, go find that. But for what I would really like you to do is go to Substack. I made a new post, And so follow me on Substack, and I rebuilding my Twitter account. So follow me on Twitter at @NotJackNap. I would really appreciate it if you did that. And unsubscribe from Nuclear Caldelio when you're at it.
Good. Thor, what's going on?
All good. You can find me on the Dragon Ship, and of course, becomedurable.com. Oh, I want to correct somebody in the comments too. Let's see if I can put this back up.
You want me to?
Is my share?
You want me to put that there?
It is not a 6-pack. It is an 8-pack. You can count them here, just so you know.
Okay? Yes.
You can look like this too at 59 years old in this photo, doing the kettlebell routine. You want to find out how? Go to becomedurable.com. Everything I did in there is not because I have that gym behind me. Almost all of it was done exclusively with what I talk about in Become Durable, and of course on RP Thor. If you look at No Gym, No Time, No Problem, there's a series there that will show you everything that you can acquire for under $150. There's no damn excuse at all. Hey, come see us on the Dragon Ship. Oh, I don't know what, about 50 minutes or so, 40 minutes or so. And I'm sure that'll be exciting. You see me and Paul again. So that's really all I got. Come check me out on becomedurable.com for a lot more. And I will try to get some of my food prep cooking stuff up there on YouTube. Just check back.
All right.
Yo, John Fish Knows Nothing, Sunday nights at 7 on the left coast. We talk about fights. There were bare knuckles yesterday. That was pretty great. There were some really good fights at bare knuckles, and there was a PFL that had some pretty good fights in it too. So we'll be talking about that today. There's a Bellator that might even be going on right now. I don't know if I'm going to catch it all, and then a UFC later. So I have a buttload of fights to go through. And Dana White was on Shannon Sharp's show telling a bunch of lies about boxing's dead. Boxing's dead. When boxing has more numbers, more viewership worldwide, makes more money, has doubled its revenue since 2000. I will talk a little bit about that type of stuff. But I also have, my online coaching stuff. I'm going to put in the chat my Gumroad links, and I've got seminar stuff up there for fighting. I've got fitness stuff, strength training, cardio. My meal plan is there also. So if you guys need help with a little bit of simple meal planning, that's available. So check that stuff out. I also offer online coaching. If you want to learn the pitch match system, I can shoot you the videos. You learn the videos on your own pace. You learn the techniques on your own pace. You shoot the techniques back to me so I can look over them and make corrections if you need to. If you are a competitive fighter or grappler, you can send me, you'll be able to send me videos of your competitions, and I'll be able to give you breakdowns of them, video breakdowns of them, tell you what you should work on more, what you did wrong, what you're doing right. Even if you have maybe an opponent you want me to break down and give you some tips on how I think you should beat them, I can do that too. So reach out through social media's DMs. I'm here and available. That before, I don't want to overload you with too much information, but that's good for right now. I'll check you guys later.
All right. I just watched a really good fighting seminar. It's called King of the Kickboxers. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. I just watched that the other night. What a great seminar that was. We have a super chat here. Nonstop Dre, $2. Jack's 12-pack abs are greater than Thor's 6-packs, which we now know is our 8-pack abs, since 12 is greater tn, and I'm gonna correct that there, 8. So we're gonna give him this.
I was just gonna say it. This guy fucks. Am I right?
All right, no more super chats, guys. Unless it's a $20 super chat and you get the bouncing tatas. Guys, do tune into the Dragon Ship right after this. This is going to redirect to that. HUDS is hosting. We're going to be discussing how you need to build your dating skills piece by piece, and it's important that you don't skip steps. Tune into the podcast on Monday because I'm going to be talking about how to catch your girl cheating. All right. I found a really cool video that I want to sort of go through, almost do like reaction with, and then I have a Red Pill archive post that goes with it. So that should be fun if you guys think your girl's cheating on you. And then finally, do check out my basic diet and fitness mini course. Okay. Especially if you're a fat guy, you have no idea where to begin, and you just need a simple place to start. Because we did give you guys a lot of information today. It can be daunting. So
my review of the course will be out on Tuesday.
Okay, yeah. So if you want to hear what Jack has to say about it, he's just gonna shit all over it. We all know.
No, that'll be great.
No, actually, no. Actually, no. I'm like, in all honesty, I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler here.
Oh wow. Okay.
I will give it an 8 out of 10. There were 2 things where I was kind of like, okay, and there was a little bit where I thought, okay, he could have added a bit more here, but in general, does it do what it set out to do? Yes.
All right. Yeah, and the idea, so I got these ideas for mini courses. I'm going to have a whole bunch of them here, but there's like guys will come to me and they just have like one little specific thing they need to work on, and I'm like, you don't need to hire me as a coach for that. I'm not here trying to steal all your money. Why don't I make a bunch of just micro courses that are like an hour, less than an hour, that'll get you going. You know what I mean? So that's the idea behind this. I'm not going to get rich off these, but it will get you started. It'll give you an easy place to start where, after that, maybe you start getting into it. You start making this more of a habit. You can find more information out there, but this will give you a place to start. It's really designed for the beginner, the guy who's never worked out before in his life. So, all right, guys, thanks for that. That's all we have. We will see you guys on the Dragon Ship or next week on Rule Zero.
This has been Rule Zero. New episodes every Saturday morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Subscribe now.